Travel is not always about distance. Sometimes it's about stepping into a completely different reality. And today's journey takes us to a place that is not just a country, but an entire world of its own. This is Russia, the largest country on Earth, so vast that crossing it can take days, even weeks. A land that stretches across both Europe and Asia, spanning 11 different time zones. Imagine this. While the sun is rising in one part of Russia, another part is still deep in the night. This is not just geography. This is scale beyond imagination. Russia is a land of extremes, endless snow-covered plains, dense, mysterious forests, and cities that pulse with modern energy. Our journey begins in the heart of it all, Moscow. A city that doesn't just exist. It moves, it breathes, it never truly sleeps. At the center of Moscow lies the iconic Red Square, a place where history feels alive, where every step echoes stories of the past. On one side, the powerful walls of the Kremlin. On the other, the colorful domes of St. Basil's Cathedral, looking almost like something out of a dream. It's not just architecture, it's emotion, frozen in time. But Moscow is not trapped in the past. It's fast, modern, constantly evolving. Bright city lights, busy streets, and a rhythm of life that never slows down. And beneath the surface of this city lies something extraordinary. The Moscow Metro, not just a transportation system, but an underground masterpiece. Stations designed like royal halls, chandeliers hanging from ceilings, marble walls, artistic details everywhere. It doesn't feel like a commute. It feels like walking through a museum. Then there are the people. Russians are often seen as serious, distant, reserved, but that's only the surface. Once you get closer, you realize there's warmth beneath that silence, a deep sense of loyalty, strong family values, and a quiet strength that defines them. Russia's history is just as powerful as its presence. A land once ruled by czars, emperors who shaped its destiny. Then came revolution, a turning point that changed not only Russia, but the entire world. Empires fell, new ideologies rose, and Russia became a symbol of transformation. Through wars, struggles, and change, this nation endured. And perhaps that's what defines it the most. Resilience. Because Russia is not just a place you visit. It's a story you step into. A story that challenges you, surprises you, and stays with you long after the journey ends. To truly understand a country, you don't just see its landscapes. You feel its soul. And the soul of Russia lives in its culture, its art, and its timeless traditions. This is a different side of Russia, quieter, deeper, and profoundly expressive. Our journey leads us to St. Petersburg, often called the Venice of the North, a city built on water filled with canals and elegant bridges. But this city wasn't shaped by time alone. It was the vision of one man, Peter the Great, a ruler determined to bring Russia closer to Europe, to transform it into a center of culture and sophistication. And that vision still lives in every street, every building, every reflection in the water. St. Petersburg feels different. Its architecture is graceful, almost poetic, perfect symmetry, soft colors, grand palaces. It feels less like a city and more like a living work of art. At the heart of it all stands one of the greatest treasures of human creativity, the Hermitage Museum, one of the largest and most valuable museums in the world. Home to millions of artworks, paintings, sculptures, and historical masterpieces collected over centuries. It is said that if you spent just a minute on each piece, it would take years to see everything. But this is more than a museum. It's a journey through human imagination. Russia's culture doesn't stop at galleries and architecture. It lives in movement, in sound, in emotion. Russian ballet, world-renowned for its precision and grace. Dancers who seem to defy gravity, telling stories without words. And then there is music, deep, emotional, powerful. Every note carrying a feeling, every composition telling a story. Russian literature adds yet another layer to this cultural depth. Writers like Leo Tolstoy and Fyodor Dostoevsky didn't just write stories. They explored the human mind, morality, suffering, purpose, existence. Their works continue to challenge readers even today, forcing them to question not just the world, but themselves. Tradition also plays a strong role in everyday life. Festivals filled with color, music, and celebration, especially during the long winter. When the cold is harsh, But the spirit of the people burns bright. Traditional clothing, detailed patterns, each design telling a story of a region, a history, a people. And yet, modern life exists side by side with these traditions, a balance between past and present, where ancient customs meet a fast-changing world. That's what makes Russia unique. It doesn't let go of its past. It carries it forward. And in doing so, it creates something timeless. Because Russia is not just a place you explore with your eyes. It's something you feel, something that stays with you. Long after you've left, there are places in this world where humans are not in control, where nature sets the rules, and survival itself becomes a daily challenge. This is Siberia, Russia's wildest, coldest, and most unforgiving region. A land so vast, it feels endless, stretching across millions of square kilometers, covered in dense forests, frozen rivers, and silent white landscapes. This is not the Russia of grand cities. This is raw, untouched, and real. In Siberia, winter is not just a season. It's a force. Temperatures can drop below 50 degrees C. Cold so intense it doesn't just chill you, it tests you. Even breathing feels different. The air sharp, almost heavy. And yet, life continues. People live here, adapt here, survive here. Because Siberia is not just about endurance, it's about resilience. At the heart of this frozen wilderness lies one of the most extraordinary natural wonders on Earth, Lake Baikal, the deepest and oldest freshwater lake in the world. Holding nearly 20% of the planet's fresh water, its clarity is almost unreal. So pure you can see deep beneath the surface. And in winter, it transforms. The lake freezes into a vast sheet of crystal-clear ice, so transparent it looks like glass. Walking across it feels like stepping into another world, a world of silence, of reflection, of absolute stillness. Surrounding Baikal and stretching far beyond are the Great Siberian Forests, known as the taiga, one of the largest forest regions on Earth, a place where wildlife still rules. Hidden within these forests is one of the most powerful predators on the planet. The Siberian tiger, massive, silent, and incredibly rare. A creature that moves like a shadow, unseen, yet always present. And then there are the giants of the forest, brown bears, strong, unpredictable, and dominant. In this world, humans are not at the top of the food chain. They are simply part of the environment. Life in Siberia is not easy. It demands strength, patience, and respect for nature. The people who live here don't fight the land. They adapt to it. Simple lifestyles, built around survival, community, and a deep connection with the natural world. There is a quiet strength in that life, a kind of peace that comes from being far away from the noise of modern cities. For adventurers, Siberia is like a dream, dogs sledding across frozen landscapes, walking on icy rivers, exploring endless snowfields. But this is not just adventure. It's a test of your limits, your mindset, your will. Because Siberia strips everything down to the essentials. No distractions, no comfort, just you and nature. And in that isolation, something changes. You begin to understand how small you are and how powerful this world truly is. Siberia is not for everyone. It's harsh, it's extreme, and it doesn't forgive easily. But for those who experience it, it becomes unforgettable, not just a place on the map, but a feeling that stays with you forever. There are moments in human history that don't just belong to one nation. They belong to all of humanity, and Russia has been at the center of some of those moments. This is the story of a country that didn't stop at its borders, a country that reached beyond the sky into space, the 20th century, a time of tension, competition, and ambition. And in the middle of it all began one of the greatest rivalries in history, the space race, a race not for land, but for the unknown, for the stars. And in this race, Russia made history. For the very first time, a human being left Earth. His name was Yuri Gagarin, a moment that changed everything. When he looked back at Earth from space, it wasn't just a victory for one country. It was proof that humanity could go further than ever imagined. This was more than science. It was a statement that limits are meant to be broken. Russia's journey in space didn't end there. It became a pioneer in rocket technology, satellites, and long-term space missions. Even today, its legacy continues to shape how we explore the universe. But Russia is not only defined by its past, it continues to evolve, to adapt, to build. Modern Russia is a blend of contrasts, where history stands beside innovation, where ancient traditions exist alongside cutting-edge technology. Cities like Moscow are no longer just historical centers. They are fast, digital, and constantly moving forward. Skyscrapers rise into the sky. Networks connect millions, and a new generation pushes toward the future. Infrastructure has expanded, transportation has advanced. High-speed trains, modern systems, a country of massive scale, staying connected. But beyond technology, beyond progress, there is something deeper. The mindset of the people, strong, resilient, unbreakable. A nation shaped by challenges, yet never defined by them. Because every hardship became a lesson, every fall, a reason to rise again. And that spirit continues to drive Russia forward, into the future, because in the end, Russia is not just about size, or power, or history. It's about experience, a journey through time, through culture, through nature, and beyond the limits of Earth itself. It challenges what you think you know. It changes how you see the world. And when the journey ends, you don't just leave with memories, you leave with perspective, a deeper understanding of the world, and maybe of yourself.